A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a bold move that has sparked significant controversy, President Donald Trump has ordered the deployment of an additional 2,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines to Los Angeles. This decision comes in the wake of ongoing protests triggered by federal immigration arrests in the city, a situation that has drawn sharp criticism from local officials and California Governor Gavin Newsom. The deployment, intended to bolster security and quell unrest, has raised concerns about the militarization of domestic issues and the implications for civil liberties. The protests, which began as a response to aggressive immigration enforcement actions, have escalated into larger demonstrations that have seen clashes between protesters and law enforcement. Critics of the deployment argue that the presence of military personnel will only exacerbate tensions and further inflame an already volatile situation. Los Angeles Police Chief has voiced concerns about the logistical challenges posed by the increased military presence, indicating that it may complicate efforts to maintain order. President Trump, however, has framed the deployment as a necessary measure to protect federal agents and property. He has characterized the protests as a threat to national security, asserting that the federal response is aimed at restoring order. In a statement over the weekend, Trump declared, "We're gonna have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country," highlighting his administration's commitment to a tough stance on immigration enforcement. The situation has been further complicated by legal challenges from the state of California. Governor Newsom has expressed vehement opposition to the deployment, accusing Trump of overstepping his authority and infringing on the state's sovereignty. California's Attorney General has filed a lawsuit against the federal government, arguing that the president's actions are unconstitutional and an infringement on the rights of Californians. As tensions continue to rise, Trump is scheduled to speak at Fort Bragg on Tuesday to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. This event will include Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Army Secretary Dan Driscoll, alongside service members and their families. The timing of this speech, coinciding with the deployment of troops to Los Angeles, underscores the administration's emphasis on military strength and readiness. The Pentagon has described the mission as limited in scope, focusing on protecting federal property and personnel amidst the protests. However, the financial implications of this deployment are significant, with estimates suggesting that the operations could cost taxpayers upwards of $134 million. This raises questions about the prioritization of military resources in response to civil unrest, particularly when many argue that the root causes of the protests, frustration over immigration policy, remain unaddressed. In addition to the military deployment, the protests have led to significant disruptions in Los Angeles, with demonstrators blocking major freeways and engaging in acts of civil disobedience. Some protesters have even resorted to setting fire to self-driving cars, further illustrating the intensity of the public's anger over immigration enforcement practices. The deployment of troops to American cities has historical precedents, often signaling a severe social crisis. From the civil rights movement to the integration of schools in the South, the presence of federal troops has been a contentious issue, raising concerns about civil liberties and the role of the military in domestic affairs. As Trump continues to push for a militarized approach to immigration enforcement, many are left wondering about the long-term implications for democracy and governance in the United States. The upcoming military parade in Washington, D.C., scheduled for Saturday to celebrate the Army's anniversary, serves as a reminder of Trump's focus on military prowess. The parade, which coincides with the president's 79th birthday, will feature tanks and military vehicles, showcasing the administration's commitment to a strong military presence both at home and abroad. As the situation in Los Angeles unfolds, the dialogue surrounding immigration enforcement, civil rights, and the role of the military in domestic issues continues to evolve. With protests expected to persist, the administration's response will be closely scrutinized by both supporters and critics alike. The deployment of National Guard troops and Marines may serve as a temporary solution to quell unrest, but it raises deeper questions about the future of immigration policy and the balance of power between state and federal authorities. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.